Okay, in this video I'm going over UFC Fight Night Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. And it sucked. The whole thing sucked. The main card sucked. Everything about it sucked. The whole night sucked. The only worthwhile highlight that was cool at all was from O'Day Osborne. And yeah, I'm very disappointed with the with the card in general, and I did really bad in picks. So we'll get into it. We'll start with Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. A kick-ass way to start this card off. Torres Finney happens to be the most boring fighter ever of all time, and he showed it in this matchup. He just wrestle fucked Robert Valentin, and it works because he is a little. How do you stuff his takedown? Once he grabs his arms, there's nothing you can do. He is just muscle. He's a little tank, and it's impossible to stop. At least for Robert, it was. It was impossible for him to stop his takedown. And Finney was slamming him, ragdolling him in the first round. That was kind of entertaining. But as it went on, Torres Finney just resorted to doing nothing at all. And there's an argument to be made that Robert Valentin won the fight. He definitely won the third round on damage. There's an argument for the first. I was saying that fuck this stupid wrestling bullshit and have Robert Valentin win anyway because he actually wants to have a fight, and Torres Finney got it broken up by the ref. He would be in on the fence in a clinch game, and Torres Finney would get separated and then instantly go back to the same position. As a ref, I separate that instantly after that. I don't understand. You just separated it. He goes right back to the same position. Separate it instantly. 10 seconds. Let him wear himself out. Because that is the most boring fucking way to fight ever. And Torres Finney just kept doing it. He kept just stalling against the cage when he couldn't get the takedown in the third. It was the most boring thing ever, and I hope Torres Finney loses, and this ruins everything. Because whoever won this, I was thinking it was going to be funny either way. But now Valentin has a loss, and he is one away from probably being cut, and Torres Finney has the most boring style ever, so all of his hype and funniness is ruined. I hate this outcome. But yeah, next. O'Day Osborne versus Luis Garul. So, O'Day, he's clutch. He's clutch as fuck for this. Tit for tat on the feet in the first round. Grappling exchanges. Nothing special from Garul in that way, in that realm. O'Day Osborne's looking slick. He's looking good. He's not looking. He's looking just good, and I didn't expect that. O'Day Osborne is just kind of good. Oh yeah, I picked Valentin, by the way, so that's bullshit. And I picked Luis Garul, so I did bad on picks all the way through. But Luis Garul got pieced the fuck up in the second round. O'Day Osborne hit him clean and knocked him out cold. Not cold. He knocked him out, though. And I don't 100% remember the finish because I'm not going to rewatch it. But I know it was the only thing that happened in the card. O'Day Osborne knocked out Luis Garul in the second round, minute 154. And yeah, he looked slick. He just looked good on the feet. He looked ready. He looked like a good flyweight, which I know he isn't. He's 13-8. So another prospect, who cares about Luis Garul, but he's ruined. O'Day Osborne gets a knockout win. I can't wait to see what O'Day Osborne does next. Next. Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert. So I went with Brad. I knew it was going to happen. It was just Gerald Meerschaert doesn't have a clear path to victory besides the signature third round, which Gerald Meerschaert did win. All he has to do is get to the third round, and he will win that round. All he has to do is win one of the first two. He just has to work on that part of his game a little bit because Brad Tavares looked good in the first and second. Just doing a little bit more on the feet, stuffing all the takedowns like he was always going to. Gerald Meerschaert had nothing for him in the first and the second, really. He was doing okay on the feet, but Brad obviously had the edge. Still a super boring fight. In the third round, Gerald Meerschaert had his grappling. He unlocked his true potential in the third, like he always does, and he had some actual success in the grappling department. Better striking, and I thought he won the third round, but he clearly lost the first two. So sad for Gerald Meerschaert, good for Brad Tavares. Super boring fight, fucking so stupid how bad this card is. But that's it for that. Cortavius Ramirez versus Lee Cheng Ho. So some um, tit for tat on the feet in the first round. Starts off really quick with both of them throwing like freaks, really trying to knock each other out. They really went for it in the first round. But Lee Chang Ho goes for a takedown pretty damn quick, and we start the grappling exchanges early. They both got 2 takedowns. There's heavy grappling in this fight. Holy fuck though. Lee Chang Ho got 116 total strikes to 14 total strikes. And a lot of that, most of that was due to the ground and pound, which ended up giving him the win. Round 2, kind of late into the round, Lee Chang Ho gets him down, gets on top, gets full mount, fucking rains down ground and pound, and Cortavius Ramirez just can't get up. He's fucking getting shit on, and he just can't get up, and that's pretty much what happened. Cortavius got smothered eventually in the grappling, couldn't get out of mount, couldn't get him off, couldn't get Lee out of his. Fuck! He couldn't get Lee off of him while Lee was in full mount, and Lee just rained down ground and pound until the ref eventually had to stop it. Cortavius was trying to be tough. He was trying to be resilient. It just didn't work out in his favor. So, Lee Chang Ho gets it done. That one was actually kind of exciting. It definitely wasn't the most boring one on the card, and it was probably the most exciting one on the card besides O'Day, but I just need something like, I need at least one thing where I'm like, oh, and there just wasn't. So, next, Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito. So, this was the worst one, I think. Pat Sabatini is the... and I picked Brito. I picked Lee Chang Ho, though, so... Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Wait, did I? Yeah, I did. I totally did. Okay, yeah. Okay, Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito. So, I picked Brito. I thought he was going to be able to stuff the takedowns, and he would piece up Sabatini on the feet, which is what he probably would have done, but he didn't stuff the takedowns. Pat Sabatini had just all of the success in the world in the takedowns. He had 4 out of 5 takedowns, but the real thing that won him the fight was ground control time. Joanderson Brito pretty much couldn't do anything. He had 3 significant strikes, 27 total strikes. Pat Sabatini had 135, pretty much just in guard, in side control, in half guard. Just stayed on top and rode out the fucking fight. Just Joe Anderson couldn't stuff a takedown, and he couldn't get out of any position, and Pat Sabatini just rode him to the end. Most boring shit ever. When Joe Anderson Brito is fun, so it sucks, and Pat Sabatini is just not that good, and it's just so sad to see, to be honest, because Joe Anderson Brito is actually interesting, and he gets wet blanketed out like that. It's just, there has to be an incentive in the UFC to not do that. There has to be. Like, you can get a penalty on your pay if you're boring or something. I know they're not going to do that, but they should do more incentives to get to actually do fun shit at least. I don't know. There just needs to be a way to fix it, because there's just more and more. I guess it's always kind of been like that. There's always been people that hug people on the ground, but I think it's really comes down to matchmaking actually, because you could have a good card if you didn't have every single boring fighter on earth on the same card. They really stacked this card with just boring fights. There was a lot of potential for Josh Emmett to be fun, but he didn't throw anything. But we'll get to that. They just put every boring fighter on the same card and expected it to be awesome. I just don't understand the, like, you have to like mix up boring fighters and cool fighters to make it bearable to watch. I don't know if we should cut down the amount of UFC fight nights a year and just have them be stacked. I do like the consistency. I would rather watch fights a weekend than not at all. But we're sacrificing quality for quantity, and it's not fun. So maybe a switch up needs to be in order, or maybe just have some fun fighters fight more. That would be cool. Maybe have an activity incentive. That'd be sick. But whatever. Next, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. So I picked Josh Emmett. I thought he was going to chin Lerone Murphy. He's been wobbled before. He's been rocked before. Josh Emmett hits like a fucking truck. I know Josh Emmett's not that good, but he could hit one shot on Lerone. I thought he was going to. Lerone's been hit before by Dan Ige, and Josh Emmett beat him. I'm pretty sure. And he's just powerful. And I thought he was gonna be able to beat Lerone Murphy, but nope. But he got kind of he wasn't as it wasn't a shutout to me at least. It was very close. I thought it was 2-2 going to the fifth. I did think Lerone Murphy got the fifth, but first round, very very close round. I gave it to Josh Emmett just because he was pushing forward a little bit. Lerone Murphy was hitting him on the outside the entire fight and doing good in the leg kick department, the just rangy strike department. But I thought Josh Emmett was doing good, pushing forward and hitting good body shots and trying to go for the overhand at least a little bit in the first round. I thought Josh Emmett would get more comfortable as the fight went on. It kind of just didn't. Second round, I gave it to Lerone Murphy. He was doing way better on the outside. Oh yeah, Josh Emmett got a 6 slam either in the first or second, where he picked him up above his head and pretty much just threw him straight up in the air and had him fall. Ugh. So yeah, shit. Yeah. Okay. And then second round, I think gave Lerone Murphy. I thought he was just doing better on the feet in the rangy department. And Josh Emmett didn't really. He just wouldn't push forward. He wouldn't throw like I would expect him to. He's very tough, so I thought he would just be able to eat stuff and throw. But Lerone Murphy was hitting good spinning back kicks the whole fight. He was just doing good in the rangy striking department. He's Leon Edwards too. He's one of these boring fucking kickboxing nerd losers that don't actually fight. But I mean, shit, Josh Emmett didn't either. So third round, I also gave Lerone. I thought he just did more. Again, just did more on the feet, just backing up. Josh Emmett went for some takedowns. I think he got 4, but there was 11 attempted, and they never stayed on the ground. Lerone always got up. He never did anything with the takedowns. There's some clinch work, but nothing ever happened. I was begging Josh Emmett to break away and throw, but he would always wait till Lerone Murphy had the advantage in the clinch before he would break away, and it gave Lerone Murphy the positioning to throw back. If Josh Emmett would have just got him up against the cage, let go, and threw, I feel like he would have caught him, but he just wouldn't try it. Yeah, it was so annoying to watch because Josh Emmett just wasn't doing what I thought he needed to do to win. But I'm not a fucking UFC fighter, so what am I gonna know? But I just didn't think it was the right. Clinching up against the cage with Lerone Murphy is not how you beat him. It's not gonna win you the fight. Fourth round, I did give to Emmett. I thought he was pushing forward. I thought he was getting his rhythm down. He was actually throwing now. He was pushing Lerone back. He hit some more overhand rights and was going to the body again. I thought he just did a little bit more in the fourth, catching Lerone Murphy a little bit more often, getting a little bit more showboaty about it, pushing forward. Fifth round, I give it to Lerone Murphy, but Josh Emmett could have fucking won it, man. If he wouldn't have been so... He, like, showboated and, like, pointed to the ground, and while pointing to the ground and looking straight at the ground, got rocked by Lerone Murphy, which I thought gave him the round. Lerone, they both, at the end of the fight, pointed to the ground, like they're Holloway Gaethje, like this was the funnest fight we've ever watched, like they're gonna do something, like they're him. They're not. They both pointed to the ground and it did nothing. At least Josh Emmett walked forward. Lerone Murphy pointed to the ground and then ran away for the last 10 seconds. Unreal, that mindset. If you're gonna want a fan base, Lerone is... I hope he's not surprised that he got booed after the fight, because that is not how you win a fucking fan base. If you would have just sat there and... Don't point down at the ground. If you won the fight, you've won the fight. You take the win. But don't point at the ground like you're some cool like you're some motherfucker, and then just run away. It's bullshit. But Josh Emmett just didn't do enough, and that was the story of his loss. Just thought he just wouldn't throw I thought he needed to go forward, throw the 1-2 to back Lerone up, because Lerone had very good movement the whole fight. And then right when he's on the cage, throw four hooks just up against the cage. I know he got clipped by Lerone when he would come in sometimes, but he was just kind of accepting losing. I just seemed like that. Maybe his corner was telling him he was winning. I just think that's bad corner work if that's the case, because tit for tat rangy kickboxing wins fights a lot of the time in the UFC. So that's pretty much the main event. Lerone gets it done by decision. The scorecards were all over the fucking place. And I thought Josh Emmett had an opportunity to win. I thought it slipped from him. I thought Lerone... I'm not going to say this is a robbery or anything like people are. But it was boring as fuck, and the whole event in general was ass. It was probably the worst event ever that I've ever watched. So I'm very excited for UFC 314, and I will see you soon. Oh.